Roslindale is the most underrated neighborhood in Boston. And honestly, it's only a matter of time before everybody figures that out. People hear Roslindale and they think it's just another quiet corner of the city. But once you're here, you realize it's one of the few Boston neighborhoods that still has real village center, a tight community, and everyday walkability that doesn't feel manufactured. Between the Arboretum, the local shops, and the mix of single-family homes and condos, it has a lifestyle that you can't replicate in most of Boston anymore. And here's why that matters. Neighborhoods like this don't stay underrated forever. As prices rise in Jamaica Plain and West Roxbury, and as more buyers start prioritizing space, parks, and community, Roslindale is going to see demand jump fast. The people who understand this now will have options. The people who wait are going to be competing in a totally different market. I've helped people buy and sell in every corner of Boston for nearly a decade, and Roslindale is one of those neighborhoods that surprises people the moment they actually see it. The lifestyle, the value, the energy, it's different, and I want to show you exactly why. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to break down the vibe, the housing stock, commute access, the pros, the trade-offs, and who Roslindale is actually a great fit for. By the end of this video, you'll know whether this neighborhood belongs on your list or not, so let's get into it. Let's start with the basics. Where is Roslindale and how do you actually get around from here? Roslindale sits in the southwestern part of Boston. It borders Jamaica Plain to the north, West Roxbury to the west, and Hyde Park to the south. It's still within Boston city limits, but it has a suburban feel that makes it stand out from the denser neighborhoods closer to downtown. In terms of commute, you're looking at real travel times depending on your mode of transportation. If you're driving into downtown Boston, you're typically 15 to 25 minutes, depending on traffic. If you're using public transit, most people rely on one of three options. The Orange Line via Forest Hills, which some residents can walk to depending on where they live, the commuter rail via Roslindale Village Station, or driving and parking closer to their workplace. The commuter rail gets you to the South Station or Back Bay really quickly, but the schedule is less frequent than subway lines. The Orange Line access usually requires a short bus ride or drive to Forest Hills unless you're in one of the pockets close enough to walk. What's interesting about Roslindale is that it feels suburban inside of the city. You get tree-lined streets, quieter blocks, more space between homes, but you're still officially in Boston. That's a rare combination, and it's a big part of why people who discover this neighborhood tend to fall in love with it. The key takeaway here is that Roslindale offers access without giving up the neighborhood charm. You're not stuck in the middle of nowhere, but you're also not dealing with the density and noise of urban Boston every single day. Now let's talk about what it actually feels like to live here, because that's where Roslindale really stands out. The heart of the neighborhood is Roslindale Village. This is your classic New England village center, local cafes, independent shops, a strong bakery culture, and restaurants that are neighborhood staples, not chains. You can walk to get coffee, pick up groceries, grab dinner, and run into your neighbors. That kind of everyday walkability is becoming more rare in Boston, and Roslindale still has it. The community energy here is strong. There's a weekly farmers market that people actually show up to. There are local events throughout the year, and most of the businesses are locally owned, and people take pride in supporting them. That's not performative, it's just how the neighborhood operates. You're also right next to the Arnold Arboretum, which is one of Boston's best green spaces. It's massive, it's beautiful, and it's free. People use it for running, walking, picnics, just escaping into nature without leaving the city. If you have a dog or kids, the Arboretum becomes part of your routine. Speaking of dogs and kids, Roslindale is extremely family-friendly and dog-friendly. You see strollers, you see dogs everywhere, and the neighborhood is set up for that lifestyle. It's not a party neighborhood, it's not a nightlife neighborhood. It's a place where people live their lives and build community. The best way I can describe Roslindale is that it has that small town inside of a big city identity. You get the benefits of being in Boston, but the day-to-day experience feels more intimate and connected than most urban neighborhoods. Here's the key takeaway. Roslindale has one of the strongest community vibes in all of Boston. And if that matters to you, this neighborhood should definitely be on your radar. Let's talk about what the homes actually look like in Roslindale, because the housing stock here is different from a lot of other Boston neighborhoods. The most common type of home that you'll see is the triple-decker. These are 3-story buildings that have been converted into condos. Sometimes they're still original multifamily properties, and they're all over Roslindale. If you're buying a condo here, you're probably buying a unit in a triple-decker. The space tends to be generous compared to condos in denser neighborhoods, and many of them have been renovated over the last decade. You also have larger single-family homes, mostly colonials and Victorians. These homes tend to have more square footage, bigger yards, and more character than what you find in newer developments. Some have been fully renovated while others are still original and need work. That range gives buyers options depending on their budget and whether they want a move-in ready home or a project. The renovated inventory tends to move quickly, especially single-family homes with updated kitchens and bathrooms. And the original inventory sits a little longer, but it also gives buyers the opportunity to get into the neighborhood at a lower price point and renovate over time. One thing that stands out about Roslindale is the street consistency. Most of the residential pockets are quiet and tree-lined. The blocks feel stable. You're not dealing with a lot of through traffic or commercial noise once you get off the main roads. Here's the key insight. You get more space and more character than many nearby neighborhoods. If you're coming from Jamaica Plain or Brookline and you're tired of small condos or tight lots, Roslindale is gonna feel like a significant upgrade in terms of space. Let's talk about what it actually costs to buy in Roslindale, because this is where the value conversation gets interesting. For condos, you're typically looking at a range that gives you access to updated units in triple deckers or smaller buildings. The price varies depending on square footage, condition, and how close you are to Roslindale Village or public transit access. For single-family homes, the range is wider. You can find smaller homes or homes that need work at the lower end, and fully renovated colonials or Victorians with larger lots at the higher end. The spread is significant, which means there are opportunities for different types of buyers. Multifamily homes are also common here, and they tend to attract investors or owner-occupants who want rental income. These properties typically sit in a range that reflects the income potential and size of the building. When you compare Roslindale to neighboring areas, the value becomes clear. Jamaica Plain is more expensive for similar housing stock. West Roxbury is comparable in some pockets, but can trend slightly higher for single-family homes depending on the area. And Hyde Park is generally less expensive, but it doesn't have the same village center or community energy that Roslindale does. What buyers usually get at different price tiers is either a move-in ready condo, a solid single-family home with some updating needed, or a fully renovated home with outdoor space and modern finishes. The key is understanding which tier matches your budget and what trade-offs you're willing to make. Here's the real insight. Roslindale hits the sweet spot between affordability, space, and lifestyle. You're not getting priced out in the way that you might in Jamaica Plain, but you're still getting a neighborhood that has character and walkability. If you're watching this because you're trying to figure out which Boston neighborhood fits your lifestyle and budget, I put together a free relocation guide that breaks it all down. Commute times, neighborhood vibes, price expectations. It's linked below, or you can scan the QR code on your screen. Grab it and use it while you watch the rest of this video, because it will help everything make a lot more sense. Now let's talk about who this neighborhood is actually a great fit for, because Roslindale isn't for everyone, and that's okay. Roslindale is perfect for people who want a neighborhood feel without going far from the city. If you like the idea of knowing your neighbors, supporting local businesses, and having a village center that you can walk to, Roslindale gives you that without making you feel isolated from Boston. It's also a strong option for buyers who are priced out of Jamaica Plain but still want that artistic, walkable vibe. JP and Roslindale share a lot of similarities in terms of community energy and housing stock, but Roslindale is more accessible from a pricing standpoint. You get a lot of the same benefits without the premium. Families are a natural fit here, and if you want more space, access to parks, and a neighborhood where you'll see other families, Roslindale delivers. The schools, the arboretum, the residential streets, it's all set up for family life. First-time buyers who want value without leaving Boston entirely should also pay attention to Roslindale. You're still in the city, you're still building equity in a strong market, but you're not stretching your budget to the breaking point just to get a tiny condo in a more expensive neighborhood. And finally, Roslindale is ideal for people who value community over nightlife. If you're past the stage where you need bars and clubs within walking distance and you'd rather have a great coffee shop and a farmer's market, Roslindale is gonna feel like the right fit. The common thread is that Roslindale works best for people who prioritize lifestyle, space, and connection over proximity to downtown or being in the middle of the action. Let's break down the specific advantages of living in Roslindale, because there are a lot of them. First, the community and connection here are real. This isn't a neighborhood where people just sleep and leave. People participate. They know their neighbors, they support local businesses, and that sense of belonging is really hard to find in a lot of Boston neighborhoods, and Roslindale has it naturally. Second, you get more space for your money. Whether you're buying a condo or a single-family home, you're going to get more square footage, more storage, and potentially more outdoor space than you would in denser neighborhoods at similar price points. Third, the local businesses are strong. The restaurants, cafes, bakeries, and shops in Roslindale Village are genuinely good. You're not settling for convenience, you're actually enjoying the options you have within walking distance. Fourth, access to the Arnold Arboretum is a huge quality of life benefit. Having that much green space right there changes how you experience the neighborhood. It's peaceful, it's accessible, and it's a resource you'll use regularly if you live here. Fifth, the commuter rail convenience is underrated. If you work downtown or in Back Bay, the Roslindale Village Station gets you there quickly without dealing with the subway. It's cleaner, more comfortable commute for people who prefer trains over buses and packed Orange Line cars. Sixth, the quiet residential pockets give you a break from the intensity of urban Boston. You get tree-lined streets, less noise, less traffic, and more breathing room. And finally, there's strong local pride. People who live in Roslindale love Roslindale. They're invested in the neighborhood, and that creates a positive energy that makes the area feel stable and welcoming. Now let's talk about the trade-offs, because every neighborhood has them, and Roslindale is no exception. First, it's not as transit dense as neighborhoods like Jamaica Plain, Mission Hill, or the South End. You don't have a subway station right in the heart of Roslindale. You're either taking the commuter rail, which runs on a schedule, or you're getting to Forest Hills to access the Orange Line. For some people, that's not a big deal. For others, it's a deal breaker. Second, Roslindale is more car reliant unless you're near the village, on one of the major bus routes, or close enough to walk to Forest Hills. If you live in one of the quieter residential pockets, you're probably driving to get groceries, run errands, or access other parts of the city. Public transit exists, but it's not as seamless as living somewhere with multiple subway lines. Third, nightlife is limited. If you want bars, clubs, live music, or late night entertainment within walking distance, Roslindale isn't going to give you that. You'll need to go to Jamaica Plain, Somerville, or downtown Boston for that kind of scene. Fourth, some pockets of Roslindale can feel far from downtown. Depending on where you live within the neighborhood, you might feel disconnected from the rest of the city. That distance works for some people, but it doesn't work for everyone. And finally, inventory isn't huge. Roslindale is a popular neighborhood, but it's not massive. When single-family homes hit the market, they tend to move quickly and there's competition. You're not gonna have endless options to choose from, especially if you're looking for a specific type of home in a specific price range. These aren't reasons to avoid Roslindale, but they are factors that you need to consider based on your lifestyle and priorities. Here's my final take on Roslindale. It's still underrated. Most people exploring Boston neighborhoods aren't putting Roslindale at the top of their list, and that's creating opportunity for buyers who take the time to actually see it. The long-term upside here is strong. As Boston's housing market continues to tighten and prices in neighborhoods like Jamaica Plain and Brookline keep climbing, Roslindale is going to absorb more demand. The fundamentals are there, the community, the housing stock, the green space, the village center. It's just a matter of time before more buyers realize what's here. Roslindale is great for buyers who want community and space. And if those are your top priorities, this neighborhood delivers in ways that most of Boston can't anymore. And Roslindale's identity is strengthening, not fading. The local businesses are thriving, new residents are moving in and getting involved, and the neighborhood is building momentum. It's not declining or stagnating, it's growing in a healthy, sustainable way. It's one of the few Boston neighborhoods with room to grow. Not in terms of new construction, most of Roslindale is built out, but in terms of market recognition and buyer demand. Right now, it's still flying under the radar, and that won't last forever. If you're thinking about moving to Roslindale, or you're comparing it to other neighborhoods like Jamaica Plain, West Roxbury, or Brookline, the best next step is to have a quick call with me and my team. We'll walk you through the micro markets, commute trade-offs, and which areas match your lifestyle. All of our contact information is in the description below. And if you're still exploring Boston neighborhoods, your next video should be this one right here, the 5 best neighborhoods in Boston, Massachusetts. It will give you a full breakdown of Boston's top areas and help you narrow your search even faster. I'll see you there.